What is up, everybody? Keith, aka Gator Guy 231. It is Saturday, October 24th, here to break down another college football slate. Just want to thank everybody for all the support on these videos. I know I said it last week, but started these out, had no clue how they would do, and to see the support and the amount of views that these are getting has been truly outstanding. So thank you guys so much for watching. Just a quick reminder, if you have not already, bottom right of the screen is the subscribe button. Please hit subscribe. Best way to repay us for the videos, the insights, and hopefully some caching picks to help you this Saturday. Also, if you can hit that like button as well, pushes out like YouTube's algorithm and lets more people see it. So that would be greatly appreciated as well. All right, let's jump into the picks. I know that is the part that everybody is here for. So let's hope that we can hit everything. Just a disclaimer / reminder. If I don't mention the guy, it does not mean he's a bad play. Either means A, I overlooked him. Like that can happen with 12 games, 24 teams, college, like varying amounts of information. So that could happen. Or just that, he just didn't make this. I still like him. So, feel free to put it in comments. Gladly answer as I see them. All right. So let's just start at the top. This is not going to be the slate that I am playing Sam Ehlinger or Lawrence. I was like Travis Lawrence, Trevor Lawrence. Jeez Louise. Trevor Lawrence, what are they, like favored by 100 right now? Actually, I think it's like 46. The total's only like 55. So they don't think Clemson can score, and they think don't think Syracuse can score, and Clemson's going to score too many. So just blow out scares you there. And then Ehlinger, I think just the prices might be up there a little bit too much. Baylor's good defense, so I think I'm probably going to pass. Who I really am excited to play is Hooker from Virginia Tech. Huge rushing upside. We saw that in the last season. He was quite amazing. We love these dual threat quarterbacks, right? Like that's normally why we love Sam Ehlinger at this price point. But this week it's Hooker versus Wake Forest. It's not a good defense. So I think he makes a ton of sense. It's just going to be a question of, can you afford him? I think if you want to spend up at running back, you can't afford Hooker. But if you can find two running backs that you like, you can do that. So we'll go into that more. Rattler's fine. Just I don't know if TCU's the matchup that I want to attack with. Mac Jones, big favorite. Matt Corral. Let's talk about this because this is the biggest favorite. The biggest total in the slate. Auburn, Mississippi, and Ole Miss is well over 70. Corral's fresh off of 6 interceptions. There is I have the slightest concerns if he starts out badly that maybe Plumlee comes in. Lane Kiffin just six interceptions is just insane, but. That said, Auburn's defense hasn't exactly been good. And Corral, we know, has insane upside. So I think it's still fine. The one thing I'll just say this on these college football sites that I want you to keep in mind. So I have no idea why, but DraftKings isn't updating logs. These are 2-3 weeks old logs, and there's multiple games that have passed. So Corral still has just these massive, massive games on there. So I wonder if that pushes ownership maybe in the bigger GPPs or lower stakes up on him, where, you might be coming out, and I don't really read touts at all, but I'm sure that people are saying, oh, after the bad game, it's a bounce back and you can get him low owned. Well, are we sure he's going to be low owned? He's, let me sort by fantasy points per game. I don't know how to sort on here, but he's going to be the second highest points per game. So I think a lot of people just go, oh man, and they look at the total and just go. So I don't know. I'm probably not going to play him. I guess that's what I know. Sam Howell's fine. Cunningham fine. Next guy I'm really interested in is Beau Knicks, just because of this total in this game. So I think, while Corral, maybe has more passing volume, but the risk is there. Beau Knicks actually gives us dual threat ability. He's had a rough start to the season, but last year we know at the end of it was very good for Auburn. I don't think we really have a threat of Auburn changing quarterbacks either. So 7K, get exposure to the highest game. I don't know if he'll be owned either. So I think I like that. Max Duggan is another guy getting great. Wow, cannot talk. Sorry, it's way early. I've not finished my coffee. But Max Duggan gives you rushing upside and gets a great matchup versus Oklahoma, who we saw Ehlinger, rush for 4 or 5 touchdowns versus. So Max Duggan could definitely do that, get us 2 TDs under 7K. I like that. Travis, same type of player. It's been really good for FSU, but gives a little bit of passing, but mostly rushing. So again, we love these dual threat guys. We get 3 of them right here, 7K to 6,800. So I'm really liking that range. As we go down, Just a couple of guys, and these are probably more for GPP, but Terry Wilson gives us that dual threat ability, although he did just come off a bad game, but 6K I think is very, very fine. Then just a few more down here. Basilic, is that how I say it? Basilak? I don't really know him other than like the game logs, but huge game versus LSU. I do think Kentucky's a good defense, but it's 5,500 for a guy that's 400 touchdowns versus LSU, or 400 touchdowns, 400 yards. I think it was like 3 or 4 touchdowns. And then finally, where is he? Hockman for NC State is now going to be starting. North Carolina just allowed 31 points versus versus FSU, who's not very good. So 5,000, YOLO. It's 5K. Like get you like 15 points and you're doing awesome. All right, running back. So this is in my opinion, it's kind of a tough position this week. Not because there's a lack of options, just because like you got to like figure out if you're playing Harris. Like my finger just wants to auto click. But I will say if you play him and like you try to pay up for Hooker, it's brutal. You just don't have enough salary left. So I do think you maybe need to choose between the two. But Harris can rush for 250 yards, can rush for 4 or 5 touchdowns. I don't know if Tennessee's defense is awful, but they're not good. So yeah, he's a great play, guys. So like, I don't know what else to say. It's a great play. If you can fit him, great. If not, you just pray that he doesn't kill you. I think that's the answer. Breece Hall, GPPs is fine, but Oklahoma State's defense is good. I don't think that's the spot. If I'm going to spend there, I'm just going to play Herbert at 8,800. Incredibly good matchup. Nothing else to say. He's been awesome. Etienne, I know the price is great, but just the blowout, is he gonna like touch the ball after the first drive in the third quarter? You just really don't know, so I don't think you can risk it. Williams is fine. 7,800 to me is a little bit steep. Like he and Carter should be really, really priced together. Williams has been on the end of like the touchdown luck, so he's probably due for some regression in a timeshare. So I don't think I'll play him anywhere. If I play anybody, it's going to be Carter at 5,900 for North Carolina. Williams from Notre Dame is fine, but to me, he's too close to Chuba Hubbard, who's my guy in this range, 7,500. Yeah, I would say it's a good defense, but Chuba Hubbard still, talent-wise, is a top 5 back in college football. Gets involved in the passing game too. I just think it might be just too cheap. So I think you'll see a lot of people go in that range. Let's see. Ely is fine to me at 6,800, but the guy I'm really looking at that game is Tank Bigsby. I don't know why. I probably need to reevaluate this. I've been like so much on the Auburn pieces, not on the Ole Miss, so I probably need to try to figure that out in some of my builds to even it out, or maybe do some game stacks. But Bigsby's been awesome. Has catching roles. The only thing that could concern us at all is that Shivers is getting back. He was the starter to start the season, but I think Bigsby is way outplayed him. At worst, you're getting a little bit of a timeshare in a nut spot. So I like Tank Bigsby. Pledger, I don't love the matchup. There's my guy Carter. I think it's a really good play. Don't be surprised if he shows up with a massive game and people with Williams go, what WTF? Once we get here, we're starting to struggle a little bit. Let's see who I wanted to bring up. Let me look at my little list over here. There's really nobody else under. The only guy I really had down was Stogner, which I don't even see here, but there you go. Stogner for Oklahoma, they're starting tight end, get 4 or 5 catches, but I think that's a relatively low upside play. All right, let's go over to receiver. The Bama receivers are great plays, but to me, they're just GPP. Like I very well might show up with no Bama, which is, I don't know. I don't think I'd ever play that much Bama, to be honest. I just think the prices are too inflated. I like Moore a ton for Ole Miss. He is the one guy I do trust. We know he's going to get like 10, 15 targets, and this game shoots out. He could, have another line like he had versus Florida, like 10 for 200. So I think the upside on him is massive. Tillon Wallace, just a bad matchup, 7,300. I don't really like Sanders very much, so I'll pass. Yeboah, that's a lot for a tight end in college football. That's like not the number one option. Like I think the only tight end that warrants that type of salary is Kyle Pitts from Florida. I know, no bias, right? But I look like the reason that you played for Kyle Pitts is because every single time the red zone, Trask is looking for him. I don't watch enough Ole Miss to know, but I don't think that's how Yeboah is being treated. Moore from Texas is a fade with Smith likely back. I just think that there's just too many mouths to feed in Texas for him. All right, my guy here, Tutu Atwell. I just think the price is stupid. He's a guy that should be 75 at 8,000 every single slate. He's that good. So 6,300 in a soft matchup versus FSU is too good for me to pass on. Brown from UNC, fine. I would just argue like Newsome for 4,300. Like, why would I pay 6,200 for Brown? Like, they're just going to kind of like trade off. I know Newsome's logs have been sucky this year, but shoot, 4,300, man, it's just a buy low spot. I don't see playing for Brown. Addison's fine. Rambo's fine. Jake Smith killed like 60% of the field a few weeks ago when he DNP'd versus Oklahoma. He's back on the depth chart. Ellinger loves the slot receiver, so I don't think he'll be owned. Like, after all that, there's just too much recency bias. So if you want to go there, I think that makes a lot of sense. The one Bama guy I do want to mention is Mechie at 5,500. I think he's fine, but he's going to compete with these Auburn guys. I told you I'm way too high on Auburn. I already see the train wreck coming. But Stove 5,500, Shorts 5,300 are great values. But to me, like Williams for 4,900, I think he had 14 targets last week, only caught 4. But he's Auburn's number 1, 4,900 versus the nation's worst defense. Like, give it to him. Like, I want all of it. That'll probably be my 100% guy. So that means that you guys should fade him, because my 100% guys always, screw me. But so I love that. I don't think there's anybody I missed in between here. I think Josh Ali, 4,700, Kentucky's number 1, and gets a huge majority of those targets, is really good. Galloway I always like from Clemson, but I just don't think I'm playing any Clemson here. Wilson from FSU is a good player. There's Newsome, 4,300. To me, is just too cheap. We saw him kind of get off. Who was it versus? I can't remember who it was versus, but had like a rushing touchdown and a receiving touchdown. I think it was like 2 weeks ago. So I think that the talent there is too much just to completely overlook. I don't think he'll be owned, so I like that too. Charlie Kohler, 4,100, stud tight end for him. Iowa State, if you think they're going to be down having to throw the ball, he is a good look. And there was one more down here. Let's see. And then my final guy, Moore from Kansas State, just a red zone guy. They play a lot of 2 tight end. He's kind of the more athletic of the two, so I played him more than like anybody else in the industry, and it has worked well. All right, that'll do it. Thank you guys for watching. Really appreciate the support once again. Good luck today. And like I said, if you have any questions, hit the comments. I do check those. Get the notifications from my phone, so do my best to respond. The closer you get to lock, though, the less of a chance you have of getting a response. So hit those questions early. Thank you guys once again for watching, and if you haven't already, subscribe to the bottom right. It is really appreciated. See you.